Hey, Ramon, I got this great business idea. So, what it's going to be is I'm going to start up a garden service. And in that garden service, I'm never going to turn up, never going to cut your grass, mate. So, it's going to be so great, you're going to have to go cut it yourself. But here's the genius part, I'm still going to charge you for cutting your grass, even though I never turn up to cut your grass. Genius, right?
It sounds like you got a tender from the municipality because I think that is the business model. So unfortunately, Byron, I didn't want to say this publicly, but I should now. You're not a thriving entrepreneur genius who just figured out a plan. The state has been doing this for decades now. So just, just get it back in
They
the line, my
have.
friend.
They have. With that in mind, it seems that Eskom have actually nicked this business model. I didn't realize that Eskom were just so entrepreneurial that they stole my idea because I see that Eskom are now saying, even though they don't provide you with electricity, and even though they can't provide you with electricity, and even though you've had to go get solar to get yourself that electricity, they still want to charge you. It's genius, mate. It's genius. It's like next level.
It is pretty next level. And when you look into what they want to do, they just want to change the entire sort of tariff structure of Eskom. So now you only pay based on what you use. But now Eskom is saying, oh, that's really unfair and it's unjust and it doesn't work. So what we're going to do rather is we're going to charge like a flat fee just for you to be connected to the grid anyway. You don't have to use it, but there will be a flat fee. And then to make it better and easier, we will just charge more if you use less power and less if you use more
More
power.
power.
So in
It's
essence,
genius.
the poor will pay a lot more for electricity, the rich won't. And but if you completely off the grid, you pay R1,000 a month just to be connected to something you don't even use
If you want to stay connected. So
for
that
some
so their
reason.
logic apparently is, and I do understand this because I'm off grid, I have a solar unit, so do you.
Hmm.
So we know that there's this really we know the pitfalls of the Green Deal from our own experience, our own lived experience. Uh-huh. Right? So our lived experience tells us that actually the sunshine is great, but it don't always have sun. There are these amazing days that happen. They're called rainy days. We used to sing about them as kids, but now we hide at home in fear. And the problem with those rainy days is that we don't get sun come out. So our solar doesn't charge to its optimal levels. In which case, can't power the house, or you can for a few hours, but it doesn't store enough electricity in the batteries to power the house. So Eskom says that during those periods, people turn back on the grid and charge up their units. And that's probably true because I do something very similar. So during those periods, when we charge up our units, our inverters pull a load of electricity. So there's like almost having a microwave go on the house. And we charge up our batteries over a period. And then some people turn off their grids and go back onto solar, or they just wait until there's more sunshine. So Eskom's saying that those periods where people are off grid, when they do use the grid, they pull more electricity, and so they actually have a higher demand on the grid, even though they're using less electricity
Mm.
overall. And so they're saying, with that in mind, they want to charge you for those really peak draws that you change. So rather than have like a slow and steady draw on it, they're saying in those periods where you have this intense draw, they want to charge you more for it because they're saying they need to generate more electricity. That's the logic. But I think what they're failing to understand is you and I probably wouldn't have gone off the grid had the grid actually worked. Like,
No, shit,
huh?
Sherlock. Do you think I wanted to pay 100,000 rand to get off the grid because I felt like it? No, I was forced to do it because I work at home. I've got children at home. Try having a child during load shedding. It's pretty rubbish for the most part. If you have a dog that is a bit anxious, it's also a problem. But also, it's a safety thing, right? I'd rather have lights on. I can see baddies so I can shoot them because it's very difficult to aim in the dark. What is interesting, though, about this proposal is apparently the president is going to talk about private sector generation quite soon. So we're going to have solar farms and, the crew is going to be blanketed in non biodegradable solar panels and all of that to help Eskom. right? But now the people who are helping Eskom right now,
By
people like you and
not
I,
using it.
by not using it, are now being punished for trying to help Eskom. So, so the incentive is not to help Eskom. The incentive is to stay on Eskom's grid and then just get charged what you use from it when it's working, which is not very often. How does this help Eskom at all, or the consumer, or anyone else? I don't really know. It helped Eskom with additional revenue, but that's about it. It feels like a very cheap and a very overt money grabbing opportunity to me.
Yeah, I think if you look at this from a reasonable perspective, with those of us who, have IQs of over 10, which, these guys don't, then, the problem that you inevitably find is that when people come off the grid, amazingly, they stop contributing to Eskom. I know this is revolutionary, but it's like, because I don't use it anymore, I don't pay for it. I mean, it's like mind blowing. And then what that means is that Eskom's revenue shrinks. I mean, who knew? Who knew? I mean, I didn't know that this is how market forces work, but apparently it does. And so they're going, oh, that sucks. I wonder how we can have them off grid, but they still pay us. It's kind of like my garden business idea. Like,
Mm.
I want to cut your grass, except I don't, but I want to get paid, but you can cut your grass yourself. Like, if you get that idea, it's genius. It's genius. It's next level. But don't worry. We've all looked at this and we're all like, okay, some people, those white monopoly racist NGOs we always hear about. I think like AfriForum is one of them. You know them. Oof, terrible people. But apparently, AfriForum says this would be unjust, charging for people for stuff that basically they don't use. I mean, do AfriForum not know how the communist revolution works? I mean, these people are just stupid, right?
They
But
are bad.
anyway, Wits University has come out with this brilliant thing. And they've issued a statement today or a article, the self-publishing type articles in Times Live, where they basically say, and I quote, that it would basically be unjust not to charge people for electricity, even though they don't use it. And we don't want to have unjustness, so it would be just, right? I mean, it would be just to charge you for something you never use or have. I mean, the states of White University, I mean, Wits University, it's just these guys deserve a pay rise. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, if you look at the Wits energy and justice expert, how can the fuck can you be a justice expert and an energy expert at the same time? I don't know. I'm not enough, not high IQ enough for that.
Maybe we should ask Joe Biden.
Yeah, Sleepy Joe. Uh, Basically, this person, this professor of justice, says you shouldn't actually go off the grid because it trenches inequality across the country, and therefore the
Mhm.
poor are left burdened with the costs of the grid. And I say, I fully agree. And personally, I think it's about time the poor pay their fair share. They vote for the ANC in droves. They go out all the time and they vote and they burn things down when they don't get what they want. You know what? It's about time the poor vote. I mean, not vote. Not they shouldn't vote, but it's about time the poor pay their fair share about the consequences of their voting actions. Because I'm tired of paying for them. I've been paying for them for many, many years now, and I'm a little bit tired. Father Christmas Kamenak is very tired of dishing out goodies to the poor who vote for people who want to kick me into the sea. So if I go
That's
off
the
the,
irony, though,
so if
isn't
I
it?
go off
It's
grid
like,
to entrench inequality, that is the sole reason I went off grid. Not because I have babies at home, not because of security, not because of anything else. I just wanted to entrench inequality, and inequality is all what I am about.
that's correct. And I knew that your whiteness would come through eventually. And I'm glad that it's here for all of us to see. You bloody racist. But all I will say to you, all I will say is, at the end of the day, the great grand irony is you're a white monopoly capitalist, and we want you to fuck off and leave this country.
Hmm.
Go back to Europe where you came from. But please give us your taxes before you leave.
Yeah, yeah, and give us all your money to use Eskom even though you don't need it. Yeah, well, I mean, just another harebrained idea by by the government to prop up an institution that funds it. That's the entire Patriot Network. Eskom's a very important part of the Patriot Network. And NERSA, who apparently acts for the consumer, the National Energy Regulator, apparently acts for the consumer, has decided to publish the tariff application for Eskom for next year, which is going to be 33% increase. But don't worry, Byron. Inflation's only at 6%. I mean, don't look at all these other things. Inflation's only at
Mhm.
6%. You know, electricity goes up by 33%. Petrol's gone up 40% in the year, whatever the case might be. But inflation's only at 6%. So there's nothing to worry about in terms of the South African economy.
Nah, mate. I need to, as an economist, I need to actually explain the numbers to you. Basically, what that 6% means is that government looting has only increased by 6%. They're still looting, but only 6% more. Therefore, if they're looting 6% more, inflation is 6%. See? It's economics, mate. It's like the science. Follow the science.
Yeah, looks like you got your degree at White's University, my friend. But anyway, that's all for today. Goodbye. And yeah, see you soon.